What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight, it's Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. And with the stats, Chris.
Hey. Buyout guys coming, right? The Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers, Bucks, Wolves, Knicks, and Suns will not be able to sign the top buyout guys because of the new cap. This cap has been ruining basketball, I feel like, for us, and we'll get into it more. But that was...
What do you define top buyout guys?
Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, Ben Simmons, and Bojan Bogdanovic.
There's some pieces, and I mean, Simmons is always good.
The guys. Ben Simmons, dude.
Simmons.
Top, but okay.
Simmons in LA? Sneaky good? I don't know.
Cavs.
Spacing, shooting Cavs, maybe? Phoenix? We'll get into it, but I'm surprised he still has the Bulls gear on tonight. The long ball straight Mikrowski. Get that, Joe.
It's so funny.
I said I can wear this jersey one last time before it'll be on the wall behind me, probably.
One last time.
I think it's going. I think it's going to go in a frame, and then I'm going to replace it with a purple
Kobe White jersey.
Ooh, yeah.
Some of those Kings jerseys are pretty sweet. Not going to lie, they're pretty.
That should have been your intro line. He's been looking at Kings jerseys all night.
They're in the cart.
We have, obviously, we're going to be breaking down the trade deadline, hence why we're going tonight, not our usual Wednesday night show. Guys, I guess the word has been crazy, active, much different than last year's trade deadline, which I believe we didn't even do a show for, right?
We were due. We were due for it. Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't. We just passed it. We're like, yeah, all right, next year.
Came up with something different.
And maybe like the All-Star game, if you don't do it 1 year and then all of a sudden it comes back better than ever, this might be the reason why. Wild trade deadline. Obviously, me and Chris did the emergency pod Sunday night after the Luka trade, and then the Zach LaVine trade happens while we're recording. So we have not gotten Joey's thoughts yet on either of those trades. We'll probably start somewhere around there, Joey, but why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of all the major ones and maybe some of the other smaller outlier ones that have happened in the last
I've got them listed from most recent to oldest. So I'll go kind of that way. I'll call it some of the bigger ones. I'll try and skip some of the ones that only Chris would care about.
Yeah, the Chris deals.
We'll skip the Chris deal. The first one I had, it's not that big, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Pacers James Wiseman in cash to the Toronto Raptors. Put that one down there. That dude.
Yeah, I heard of
some things after being supposed to be promising for the Warriors way back when. So
I didn't know I didn't know you played this year.
Yeah,
he was on a roster.
He was on a roster on the Pacers, but
was he? I don't know if he was playing. Cash considerations.
Okay, I thought we were doing non-Chris. Well,
yeah, that's just right off the Chris straight off the bat.
He was supposed to be a big deal. That's what's up there. Just wanted to think Clippers, Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to the Hawks for Bojan Bogdanovic and 3 second-round picks.
Bogdanovich.
Sorry, Bogdan. Yeah. You're right. Not Bojan. Bogdan.
Bogdan.
One of the Hawks' moves of a few. They were a little busy here.
They're tanking. That team is done. They're like, Jalen's hurt. We're losing. Let's just get rid of these guys.
Yep. Perfect timing, though. Hawks DeAndre Hunter went to the Cavs for Karis LeVert. George Niang, 3 second-round picks and 2 pick swaps. So offloaded Hunter and Bogdan.
Solid pieces.
Next one up, the Suns got off Yusuf Nurkic. Chris was a very big hater of this deal 2 years ago. It cost them a first-round pick along with it. They got back from the Hornets Cody Martin, Vasily Micic.
Sure.
Micic. The 2026 second-round pick. So interesting from the Suns, right? They traded. Let me see if I can remember this. They got the first-round pick back from the Hornets.
Yeah.
In the first deal, which they thought they were going to be able to help use to offload Beal. Didn't work. They ended up having to spend it to get rid of Nurkic.
Oh, they spent one of them to get rid of Nurkic.
Yes.
Because they got 3 of those weird picks.
If you guys listen to No Dunks today, but they were talking about the Nurkic DeAndre Ayton deal, and basically what the Suns ended up getting for the first round pick in Ayton was Grayson Allen, because everybody else that they accumulated through these deals and everything is now either gone or traded.
No, I missed No Dunks today.
That's tough.
That's tough.
So that's a tough one to swallow. All right, first big one up on the list. These kind of came back to back last night. Lakers Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish in a 2031 unprotected first round pick and a 2030 pick swap to Charlotte for Mark Williams. Lakers go get their center. Similar Derek Lively, I think, is the comparison kind of hearing that they.
That lob threat, man.
The
thing with him though,
a non-Booch player.
He doesn't really play game. I don't think he's not a Dallas guy, right? Like he doesn't play games.
He doesn't play games.
Yeah, he's only played 80 out of 284 out of like 211 games or something.
They only need to play 16, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, right. That's true.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, not counting on him for a big chunk.
But he's supposed to be the starting center. But also, he was in Charlotte, and like Charlotte's not actually a real franchise considering the moves they've made.
Yeah, I mean,
and LaMelo apparently is hurt again. Is LaMelo not conditioned enough too? Are we sure LaMelo is conditioned?
Is
that going to come out like
from Chris?
I know it's just so. Oh god,
we're gonna get into this.
Yeah,
this is gonna be awesome.
I mean, does he like to drink too much? What's the deal?
Right?
What do you say?
No, he likes to go kart on rooftops. But
you guys talking about me again?
Titus is out of shape and likes to drink too much. Trade him to LA. He's available. All you need. All right. The Pelicans. This was a pretty big one. I think in all the chaos, I kind of forgot that he was available.
Lost in the shuffle.
Brandon Ingram to the Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and 1 first round and 1 second round pick.
Okay.
So one big move from the Pelicans. I'm not sure it does enough for them, but it's something.
Yeah, this is something trade. Something happened. Players were moved.
The problem with this trade is that the Raptors are then going to sign.
They're signing him, right?
Brandon Ingram to like a big contract.
Yeah, they're kind of a weird team. The Raptors like shape it up. So you got RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Manuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes. It's like a team. It's like a team of all the same person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which is what they try to do, I guess. So.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the.
That's
Toronto.
It was nice to see Bruce Brown traded, but of course he went to NOLA. Hopefully he gets bought out and can go to a rightful contender.
We need another guard. I heard in Chicago.
Yeah, we got 6, so we're not a lot of depth there.
Yep, we could go for 7. All right. 76ers traded Reggie Jackson. I don't know if anybody care about that, but 3 years ago.
What other big trades
3 years ago?
Let's go. I'm like, come on, good dude.
We got to run through these. These are. Jeez. All right, I'm just gonna take the next one off too. All right, here's a big one. Fine, Miami Heat finalizing deal.
Here we go.
Jimmy Butler to Golden State.
Okay.
Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and protected first round pick. Schroeder has now been moved on to Detroit as part of this. Not part of it, but
for
the fact.
You got traded to 4 teams like last 18 hours.
Oh man,
could have signed a big deal in LA 2.5-3 years ago, but on himself.
He says they didn't really. Yeah, it's
definitely one of the bigger ones of the night or of the weekend. I don't even know when all these have happened. The last few days, it felt like a blur of trades.
Miami was last night.
Miami was last night. Okay.
Yep, Butler was last night. All right. Washington Wizards, Jonas Valanciunas to the Sacramento Kings for City Sissoko and 2 second-round picks.
Yep.
City Sissoko.
That's a good one. Interesting.
Good one. New Orleans Pelicans. No, didn't mean. Oh yeah, I did mean to write this one down. Daniel Tice and draft compensation, Oklahoma City Thunder. They have not yet described what the draft compensation is, so curious to see.
Yeah.
What Oklahoma City. I also kind of thought you said it, Titus, too, right? You said this is the deal before the deal.
Yeah, it felt like something was going on.
And nothing ever came of it. So I flagged that one as a curiosity trade. What were they anticipating? What were they thinking?
That one might have been, like a good if we had done if we were live for the trade deadline like everybody else seemed to be today. You know what I mean?
Some of us have jobs that don't involve podcasts.
I'll have jobs, but unfortunately. But yeah, no, that would have been a fun, interesting what's what's going on there?
Let's see. The Bucks traded Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap to the Wizards for Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and second round draft compensation. So basically, the Middleton for Kuzma here.
Yep. I forgot how many freaking trades there's been.
Middleton for Kuzma is an interesting one.
I forgot about this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that we forgot about that one 2 years ago. That would have been like a big trade.
Because I forgot like that. The Ingram one feels like they're like those are big moves, but like I feel like we're not even gonna really we're gonna touch on them in the show, and then we're gonna be like, okay, yeah.
The Kings, the big one that happened when you guys were live. The Kings sent De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. Zach LaVine went to the Kings, and then the Bulls got Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, who people thought were all going to kind of be moved, and they're all there. They're all staying.
Pieces of pieces.
And the Bulls get to keep their pick this year.
That's the important.
They got their pick back.
I
like that in that press conference. One of the questions was, "Hey, were there any trades that involved you not just getting your pick back?"
I'm not talking hypotheticals.
Yeah,
hypotheticals, guys.
Dude, it's brutal.
You know what's funny?
We will definitely get into that.
Yeah, I can say I've got some.
Yeah,
I've got a thought. I've got a thought on his comments for that trade, considering that a victory. Clippers made another move. We won't go through that, but PJ Tucker, Mo Bamba, stuff. Clippers did some stuff. Clippers kind of moved some stuff around. Didn't really add much behind it, but maybe clearing some space, making some money moves.
Money moves.
And then obviously the biggest one was Luka for AD, and some other stuff was mixed in there, but
kicked it all off.
That kicked it all off. The shocker of them all early in the deadline, stole Super Bowl week right out from the NFL. Fantastic.
Yeah, it really did. All right. I definitely want to get to your questions, Joey, you have for us here, but I do kind of want to maybe get quick reaction to the Luka trade. Let's say maybe Zach, we can kind of cover Zach, but maybe some of the Bull stuff you had in mind. But the Luka trade happens, what was it, Saturday night, you wake up Sunday morning, what's going on? What was your kind of instant reaction to that?
So I sent you guys the message at what was it, like 2:25 in the morning?
Shams did.
I woke up to go to the bathroom and I grabbed my phone to see what time it was, and I saw that there were like 7 notifications, and I was like, "What in God's creation is happening? That's not normal."
Yeah.
And then I had the big one, like the little, I don't know if you guys had Yahoo like sports notifications on, but they put like exclamation points all over it when there's like breaking news, and I was like, "Oh, that's breaking news." I clicked on it and I didn't believe it. I went right to Twitter, looking at Shams. Shams had the "This is real."
So you're up.
Yeah. I ended up staying up all night. I didn't go back to sleep. So that's mostly why I said I had to sit Sunday night out, because I was dogging hard. I watched Trey Kirby do his Shed podcast from his house in his pajamas. I was just like in my own little world.
Should have just gone live, man.
Were you more surprised LaVine being traded over Luka?
No.
But so you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay, but then when it actually happens, it's like. Oh, no.
The more that I had to talk about the Luka trade, like I walked into work and people were like, "Hey, you like basketball? Why is it such a big deal?" And like the more that I tried to explain it, the more I couldn't quite figure it out, and I kind of settled on I think Chris, you said it Sunday perfect. It was like they basically said, "You're fat, and we don't like you, and we think Anthony Davis is better."
Yeah.
Basically, they just call him fat on the way out.
It's
just the most disrespectful thing ever.
Yeah, like I wish I could operate sometimes with as much conviction as Nico does. Like that dude has convinced himself that this is the absolute right thing, and that they're built to win now. And Anthony Davis gives him a better deal. He said it so confidently so many times that like I feel like I'm starting to believe him. That like maybe he kind of sees something that nobody else does, but it's just weird. If you were a fan of the Mavericks, you'd disown.
You're not anymore,
right? I mean, they're offering people refunds on their season ticket packages right now. I don't know. You don't trade 25-year-olds five time in a row all NBA players, guys who when people talk about the only person who potentially could break a LeBron scoring record, the only name that ever gets brought up is Luka. Is it like realistic? Probably not, but like the fact that people even consider that, like that's the kind of player he is. and using that as like a defense to people. I was telling people at work, I was like, this is why it's so crazy. Like, this is why it's so mind blowing. This doesn't happen. He was due for an extension. They drafted him. Like he is their player, homegrown. They've had him the whole time. The team is built around him. Everything that Dallas is because of Luka Doncic right now.
Yeah, the air just doesn't happen.
Mind blowing. It still doesn't make sense to me. I think it's going to be next year, right? You're gonna value the trade after next season. If the Mavs win this season, then you're valuing it immediately. But if they just kind of do nothing and Lakers do nothing, it's a full season to see what it is.
Yeah. Chris, the longer you sat with this, are you still mind blown? Are you making sense of it at all?
Everything I've read about it, it just there's even like articles about this guy Eagleman who used to work for the Mavs, ex-analytics guy who spent 2 years pushing to trade Luka.
I heard about this.
And even he was like, hey, I was trying to push it for like Tatum and a couple firsts for Luka, not for what they got. Like, no matter what, if you think it was right or wrong to trade Luka, the way they did it was just like the weirdest, most conspiratorial trade you can ever, or situation you can ever think of, because like it's just too stupid. You don't make trades like this to not open it up to every team to kind of shop around. If you don't want the blowback, don't make the trade. If you're not willing to take the blowback of trying to trade your star player, like I just don't understand why you wouldn't call another team, just to like, unless. But then it get to the point where like, all right, Anthony Davis, he's just seeing things that nobody else is with Anthony Davis. Yeah, Anthony Davis this year is like 4th in player efficiency rating. Maybe they value that stat more than others, I guess.
Plus minus.
Right? I don't know, man.
Yeah, so the Chris stats. I've been trying to understand this trade because it really, by all conventional wisdom, it doesn't make sense. I think this is going to go down as either the smartest trade ever or the dumbest trade ever. There's no in between. I don't think there's any middle ground on this. This is either going to be, I can't believe he was like in the face of everything, pulled the ripcord on Luka, and made $1 million bet and it came out, or $350 million bet, I should say, and it worked. Or it's going to be, what an idiot. This guy traded a perennial all NBA player, finals MVP, I think the fact that he went to the Lakers is the scariest part of it, with kind of going to LeBron's tutelage being the issue.
So Taj, to your point, so Nico does this trade. There's also a report that he may not want to be a GM like long term. So like,
I just really hate Luka.
So make a trade where it's all in you now.
Yeah.
Right. And like if the Mavs win, Nico is the first guy named. It's not gonna be Anthony Davis. It's gonna be Nico Harrison. Right.
Yeah. The move of all moves.
The GM. But if they lose, hey, he's out. He doesn't really want this job anymore anyways. He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
Dude. It's been real.
It's been real.
Right? Peace out. Like, good luck to the next GM. Like, I've left you with nothing. And that kind of annoys me too, where he's just like, I might as well just go balls out. Like, whatever. And that's the other part of this. Is just,
I think too, Chris, I think your point is perfect in that it's not that they traded Luka. It's that nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
And like, if they were so concerned about him finding out and like the waters getting muddied, like if you were that done with him and were willing to come out and say the things the way that they try to tiptoe around it, but everybody knew what they were saying, like you were convinced or you were committed to trading him. So who cares if he found out? All right. Like at that point, your mind was made up.
Yeah.
So if you went and shopped it and it leaked, like, there had to be a better offer out there.
So this is the part where I do kind of want to play devil's advocate a little bit here, because I kind of see the logic. In the moment you put him out there, the moment I think specifically letting Luka know, right? Because they had to go to his team and go, hey, look, just heads up, you're on the market. I kind of agree with them that then it becomes, where does Luka want to go? because everybody knows he's up for a contract, extension. Who's putting the Godfather offer together if they're not getting the guarantee that he's signing up, right?
I feel like,
I mean, I like it.
Well, there's no guarantee they sign with the Lakers.
If you
there's no guarantee, but
you're saying that teams would have backed out if Luka went on record and said, "I'm not going to sign a long-term
I'm only
deal."
I'm only signing to the Lakers, and then now I think
destinations.
The Lakers then, I think then the Lakers don't have to maybe include Anthony Davis. Like if you're the Mavs, because then I think if Luka maybe says no, I'm only going to the Lakers and only signing if it's Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and that's what I'll do. And now, all right, now it's Austin Reeves and Hachimura and picks, and now they're getting both of the first round picks, right? The 29 and the 31 that everybody's been talking about. Like, why didn't they get the second round pick or the second first round pick? I think it's because, and rightly or wrongly, right? I think it's because the Mavs really did want Anthony Davis, and they were like, hey, this is actually what we want. Like, maybe let's not play around with it and lose it, potentially in their minds, lose it. Again, I think they could have commanded the world, but who knows, man?
But if you want your guy, you want this 31-year-old who's about to be 32 next month. And you guys all, I even know what it's like to turn 32. Like, it's not, it's not great. And
it's flawed logic. I feel like no matter how
guys, his number of games played, Anthony Davis last year was 76, the most in his career. Before that, 56, 40, 36. The guy doesn't play. He doesn't stay healthy. He's only getting older. That's the most annoying thing with this thing. I'm like, guy, he's not.
It's crazy, man.
I don't know. So
I feel like we could do an hour just on Luka and because I mean, I was a pretty vocal hater after the finals of Luka, where I was kind of starting to do I don't know about him. So I feel like I'm a little bit more open to this trade.
I was a hater too. You just it doesn't make sense.
But
I'm not a hater.
I'm weirdly okay with it, but I think him going under LeBron's wing might be the problem, because I think Joey's right. I think he has the summer, comes back, and I get to see it now. Luka's in the best shape of his life. 250, whatever it is, and
seems like a pretty prideful guy. And when you get slandered like that in public, in the public forum, that's
be the best turnout from all this is the Lakers get the 4th seed. The Mavericks get the 5th seed.
Yeah.
And we just see this round 1 right away.
Yeah. It'd be glorious.
Because I think the Lakers would win. Purely off of Luka just being in FU mode. And Mark Williams, if he's healthy, if he can play those.
Yeah. He's a lob threat.
Maybe 5. Yeah, he's a great lob threat.
Jackson
Hayes is a good lob threat.
Bronny James,
in the corner, hitting threes.
Dude, the Lakers are the 5th seed. They're 60. They're 20.
With Anthony
they're not
Davis.
bad. It's crazy. Okay, so that game that he got traded, he didn't play, and they really won. And I think LeBron knew, because LeBron post game was like, "Yeah, we had a really good defense, but it's tough to do without our best player and Anthony Davis, but we really got it done." He really talked up Anthony Davis in a time when he didn't need to. So it's like, did he know?
Did he know?
He knew.
He knew.
LeBron knew.
Right?
LeBron knew. All right, I think this is probably a good transition here to the questions Joey's got for us. So, I mean, is this the biggest impact trade, or what is the biggest impact trade of the deadline? Joey, is this it? Is it that? Is it your boy Levine going to Sacramento?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. I was
All
trying to think of an argument for another one, and I was like, no.
Well, Fox to the Spurs.
No, Fox to the Spurs is close, but
I was going to say
Fox and Wemby aren't on the level of Luka and LeBron yet. It's not. Yeah, it's not there yet. So it's the most impactful. I mean, it literally shook up the entire league.
Yeah.
And it changed what the Western Conference looks like for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It's
because it's pretty much like, well, when LeBron's done, the Lakers are done until they figure out what's next. And then they figured out what's next before LeBron decided he was done.
And
which probably means LeBron's probably playing 2 more years, I bet, after this.
I wasn't kidding. I honestly believe he can play another 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think this summer he's going to Golden State, so I can't wait.
But, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
That's right. You had your
I had my hopes.
Titus, we had so many opportunities to do an emergency pod and not opportunities, but so many proclamations that we'll do an emergency pod if
none of them
happened. None of them happened.
None of them happened. Everything but the ones we said.
Yeah.
Chris, all right, besides the Luka trade, what is maybe the next one?
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So I was between De'Aaron Fox and then I want to entertain Kuzma.
Oh, okay, never mind.
To the Bucks. Because I think Middleton's been like almost nothing for the Bucks this year. And the Bucks are still the 5th seed in the East behind the Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, and they could get to a 4th seed.
I can't even say this straight face.
I don't know. It sucks though. Like Jimmy, but like Kuzma, like kind of it because like when you think about Jimmy Butler's not a trade that I would make for Golden State. We'll get the least impact.
I want to push back on that a little bit, but like because I think that's my most impactful one. Besides,
okay, you like that? That's good.
We can give it after your point. If you're
right, because you're basically saying Kuzma has just been mailing it in for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Kuzma's good. Kuzma has a ring, and being a significant contributor for that ring. Right? It wasn't like a Patrick Baldwin ring.
He was on the roster.
I mean, it's an upgrade over Middleton.
Yeah. So
at this stage in the career, right?
And at least it's a guy that's like, he's probably gonna play. So give it to the Bucks. And it's Giannis.
They're trying.
He can turn it up. They'll, they gotta do something. Otherwise, they're gonna. Dude, how about Giannis's quote about like, I want all the Europeans,
right? In big
cities. You'll get you in the Knicks. And I'm like, is he saying this because he wants to leave Milwaukee? It was kind of weird. The way
I know you can't listen to Chicago sports radio, but there was a lot of that being played today as like a make us feel better about the Bulls not doing anything. Was, hey, let's just keep out hope that Giannis said all the Europeans are going to go to big cities. It's his hope. It's his dream. Maybe someday.
Not the Chicago big city. Bulls fans,
he's going to Miami.
I don't think it was serious.
I understand Giannis will be in Miami in like 3 years.
It was a coping mechanism for us today.
Okay? Wow, we'll definitely get into some coping mechanisms. Are you guys ready for me to make my Jimmy argument here?
Let's go. Yeah, let's hear it.
So the more I thought about this, the more I kind of like this. I think Jimmy can be. I mean, at this, I'm going to do a Chris here. Laugh in the middle. Like, I don't know if I can say this with a straight face. I think if Jimmy's on his best behavior and they get into the playoffs, I think that's a scary team. I think Steph can play off of Jimmy. Jimmy's going to be the ball. I think obviously sort of the point of initiation of the offense. And I think that's fine. He can kind of maybe do like a poor man's KD version for them. Mid range, get into the basket. Maybe not quite the shooting threat KD was, and then have Steph play off him. And I think him and Draymond are going to fit together fine for this year, and maybe next year. I think that third year might be interesting. And then from my understanding, and I don't know if you guys heard about it, I believe that second year of the contract is a team option, correct? Did anybody hear anything different? That's what I heard. It was in the Bill Simmons podcast. They said, because he was talking about, he goes, yeah, that's not 120 million because it's 60, it's 61, and then it's a team 61, option.
Is it this year?
It's next year. So,
next year.
It starts next year.
So he's going to be there no matter what next year.
Okay. Next year, yeah. And I think it's 2 years, 60 per, and I believe the second year is a team option. I'm not, I didn't look that up, but from what I was watching today, that's what they said. And if that's the truth, I think you're okay. And I like it in the sense of the West being a little bit, I want to use the word immature, even in the sense of like, I don't think the teams have ripened quite yet. Like the OKCs, the Memphises, the Houstons, the teams that are really on top right now. I don't know if they've got the playoff chops when you look at like a LeBron, Luka, a Steph, Jimmy, sort of combinations, I think those could be interesting in the playoffs. And so obviously outside of the Luka,
they could be that team that nobody wants to play.
Yeah, they could be that team that nobody wants to play.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, like, does Houston want to see them? First round? I don't think so.
I think I understand your point, Titus, in the sense that what else were the Warriors going to do?
Yeah,
nothing.
Just ride out Wiggins. Durant didn't want to go back to Golden State. I think if Durant signed off, he'd be in Golden State right now, right? And I'd actually be kind of.
I would love to see that. Yeah, let's do it.
But
it's all right. LeBron's going in the offseason, so I can't wait.
I feel like the fact that he's 35. So I guess maybe is it you're kind of thinking that he's been like slacking, but
yeah, he's not engaged. He's
been laying off a little bit in Miami for like a season and a half, maybe, if not more, since the second finals run.
Yeah,
maybe he's just been kind of since they lost to the Nuggets. It's just been kind of ho hum for him.
Yeah, and he wasn't great in that Nuggets series. He wasn't great at the end of that conference. Was that the? Oh no, it was just the Nuggets series that he really wasn't great in. But the end of the Boston series where they won in 7. Like that's why they went to 7 games is because Jimmy wasn't Jimmy.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been top notch Jimmy for a little bit in the playoffs. But I also think this is another situation of a guy going to a team who clearly has a number one. In Steph. Jimmy's not going to be bigger than Steph in Golden State. He's not going to be bigger than Draymond in Golden State. So I think he's going to fall in line at least for a little bit. I think everybody knows this is a short-term run. Like everybody knows, hey, this is the next 2 years. See if we can maybe catch lightning in a bottle. And if not, we all go our separate ways and it's over.
If not, it's all crumbling anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all gone. Steph, Draymond, everybody's out of here anyways.
Everybody's out of here. So
it doesn't matter. We're starting over again, no matter what. Fair enough. Fair counter.
I'm just confused with the Warriors. So, like, is Jonathan Kuminga just going to walk this offseason?
Yeah, financially, are they going to be able to sign him or what? Or
I don't think so.
I'll have to dig into it more. I'm pretty sure they can.
I think they're pretty much wrapped up in this now.
And then they got Healed, Moses Moody. Like, it's just
Zemski. Yeah.
I mean, they really mortgaged the future. I think that's maybe the one negative you could look at this is they really kind of just said this chips in, let's just do it. And
if there's one thing we learned from the trades in the Western Conference, it's that the teams that are kind of built, ready, view this as like this season or nothing.
Yeah,
it's OKC is about to be here. Houston's coming. Memphis is clearly hanging around. When Wemby's window is coming, it's now or never.
So it's crazy because the Warriors really had a situation where they drafted Wiseman, Moody, because Wiseman's
the 2 timelines
I mentioned now, and then
that's why I said Wiseman.
Kuminga. But then all 3 of those guys just are not. They're just kind of being a part. It's kind of like the guys in Goodfellas, where you're supposed to bring it to the next generation, and they shoot them in the foot, and
he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah,
there's nothing we do about it.
Yeah, right.
They whacked him. All right. What was the least impactful trade?
Yeah, I feel like we've maybe hit a few of them.
Yeah, go for it, Joy.
There were kind of a slew of them in here. I kind of want to say the least impactful was the Bulls, and I say that because it needed to be a lot more. So there's really no point to what they did in the first place, right? Like it's least impactful because it didn't move the needle far enough in either direction for them. And I think we were kind of hoping it was the start of something for it. And the fact that they kept the 3 guys that came back, like 7 guards on the team, it's just, I don't know. We can spend more time at the end, but in the interest of, not saving or taking one of the easy ones like Marcus Smart being traded to the Wizards, I think the Bulls, it kind of meant nothing. It kind of doesn't do anything for anybody.
Chris, you got at least
I think it's the best one because you could say, like, I saw there's a trade here that the Hawks traded Cody Zeller in a second round pick to the Rockets, and the Hawks got to be determined back. Like, I don't know if that actually ever got finalized, but
got determined.
It's still just like, you know what? Who cares? It's just those. Sure, they're not impactful, but
it's a 2028 second round pick. Does it change your impact?
Okay. Shoot. Okay, never mind. I don't even want to talk. Yeah, no, that's that.
Second round picks.
Now the Levine trade feels like because the Bulls didn't make another trade. There was even talks that Trey Jones, Herter, and Collins were on the market to be traded. I saw something about that before the deadline a couple days ago, and they didn't trade them. The point was to reduce depth so you can have your guards that you want to play. We still have Kevin Herter on this roster. We still have Trey Jones, who are good enough to get minutes. So what are we doing? Like it's just
we'll
just
get into
turning
that.
the wheel.
You know what? I'll just quickly touch on a trade that we already talked about. I think the Kuzma one would be one for me. I don't think that was a very impactful. I think it's fine. I get why they did it, but I think it doesn't have a big impact.
It's an even trade.
It's an even. I think they're
in a weird way.
Laterally, I don't think it's a bad.
One other thing with the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler trade, I just realized PJ Tucker went to the Heat.
Yeah, that feels good.
That's like sneaky good.
Yeah.
He's a Heat culture guy.
He got traded twice this week.
All right, one other question I had. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, keep going.
I just started talking. One other thing I had for you guys is kind of maybe redundant here, but I did want to ask you guys, Luka or Jimmy, who's going to have the better chip on their shoulder case? Is it going to be Jimmy going to Golden State with Steph and sort of trying to get one done, or is it Luka after the whole surprise we traded you to LA? Who's got the bigger chip?
I say Luka.
Maybe too easy of a question.
I say Luka because he didn't know it was coming. I feel like Jimmy knows that he was being an ass and like is fully self-aware that like this wasn't working for anybody involved.
Yeah.
Like now, if it was like a finals matchup between the Heat and Golden State, like I could see Jimmy maybe a little bit, but I think like long term, I feel like Luka is going to be
maybe. Yeah, that's probably how I should have framed it.
And they're in the same conference too, so like there's going to be some opportunities to meet on a regular basis.
Yeah, maybe. So, Chris, I'll frame it to you this way: Who gets a title of those two guys?
So wait,
who gets a FU title?
I was gonna say Jimmy, but Luka gets the FU title. But but Jimmy, in the sense that like everyone was dogging him, even like Kevin Garnett came out, who usually defends the current players, was like, what Jimmy Butler's doing, we're not even gonna get non-guaranteed. We're gonna get non-guaranteed contracts in the next trading negotiations.
Sunglasses on,
it's like
everything.
Right, yeah, and so if Jimmy has to perform.
Yeah,
he's been talking all this crap for however long now. He's got to walk it now. Luka, that came out of nowhere. Sure, he still has to produce because they called him fat on the way out, and
But he can take if he doesn't have a great end of the season, nobody's gonna be like, oh my god, what happened to Luka? They're gonna be like, just wait till next year, right?
Yeah,
Jimmy,
like you're saying, it's like, all right, maybe he's old. He is 35. Luka's 25. It's a 10. Luka's 25. What are we doing?
This is too. I had a hard time.
Hefty 25-year-old.
Coming with questions.
Dude, he did not look. He looked good in the. Did he look 270 to you guys?
Oh, in the Lakers thing, he looked a little puffy.
Do you think he's 6'7"?
Puffy? What the fuck does that mean?
I get it. I get it. Like I don't think it's a reason to let a guy go. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think it's particularly an issue for him. The weight is the thing. I think it's the work ethic, and I think it's the like the defensive stuff would have been the problem for me. I
wonder if sorry to cut you off.
Did you guys see the Windhorse comment on the SVP show or no?
Yeah, that the Dallas nobody from Dallas reached out to him, even though he got reamed by all the Dallas fans about it.
Yeah, like after that rant in the finals where he's like, the winners are over there. I mean, that kind of tells you. I kind of forgot about that moment where he like turns to the bench, is like, you better effing challenge that. After he again, a questionable 6 foul, whatever. But like I forgot about that moment. I was like, yeah, that was a really bad look, and that was the one game to me in particular where I was like, I just don't see it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't have traded the guy, but whatever. But yeah, I don't think it's a weight. Fair. Like I don't think the weight thing is like a big issue, but like he didn't look svelte in the Lakers.
He looked puffy.
He looked a little puffy, which is fine. I'm a little puffy. It's fine. No big deal.
Dang, I didn't think it looked puffy.
It's just winter weight.
This is winter weight.
I have to rethink my look. He looks puffy.
I'm not saying like he looks puffy for a basketball player.
Hey, you heard it here. That's tough.
That's tough. I mean, like it's not like Come on, man. Look at like a Jaylen Brown. He's sculpted. You know what I mean? Like, all right.
Like
He looks too big the other way.
Like
he looks
Jaylen
too
Brown looks a
muscular.
little puffy.
He looks a little puffy. So a little puffy. All my great quotes are about Luka. That's tough.
Yeah.
He's a little puffy.
A little puffy.
He's a little puffy.
He's a little puffy. What were we talking about? Anything else? Or Chris, you had a point, right?
No.
Okay. All right, let's move on. The best win now trade. I feel like these are all best win now trade. Joey, did you have
yeah, best win now for me was the DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs for Karis LeVert.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, DeAndre Hunter kind of similar in makeup, but maybe Karis LeVert a little bit more foundational towards the offensive side. DeAndre Hunter a little bit more impactful on the defensive side. I feel like in terms of a team that is obviously building to compete against the Celtics, DeAndre Hunter gives you just a much better matchup than Karis LeVert. It's just it's a better fit in terms of rotations, and if he comes off the bench, he could potentially be a starter depending on what you want to do.
I'd like sculpted DeAndre Hunter, man.
Not puffy. Yeah, I think it just made sense. It was like a very non-risky move, but it was just enough to like, hey, we see a window that we're in right now, and it's kind of a now or never for us. So let's make a small little tweak and see what we can get out of this. And you lose George Niang, who is that guy is puffy.
Niang is puffy. Okay,
right. He plays like it too. He plays like a big guy.
Yeah,
posts you up, knocks you down.
Chris, your biggest win now.
That's the best one. Joey took the best one. Let me take a moment to talk about Jonas Valanciunas. No, it's fine. Jonas Valanciunas. I don't know. He could be a good backup center. Maybe Sabonis will play some 4 to give some height to that.
Yeah, for Levine,
you can't play 4 guards. This isn't UConn with Hashim Thabit in the NCAA tournament. Like, it's just such a weird. I'm glad we're going big again a little bit in the NBA, but so maybe we'll see some Sabonis at the 4 or something. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I think Joey nailed it. That's the best. I mean, other than the obvious ones, but that's really the best one. I like that. A should have been trade. Chris, you got one that should have happened?
Kevin Durant.
Oh,
should have gone somewhere. There was talks that he was going to go to Minnesota, which, don't laugh, makes so much sense. I mean, him and Ant are like best friends, especially after Team USA in the Olympics. We could use like a really solid, stretch big 4 there. They have the pieces: Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, maybe Nas. There's somebody else. Maybe Mike Conley would have to get traded. There's some pieces we could give up that would be hard to give up, but be worth it for to try someone like Kevin Durant. That was the one where I read that and I was just like,
"Why are we doing this?
Why are we not doing this?"
I feel like we've come full circle in this podcast where Chris is volunteering for Kevin Durant to come to his team.
Seriously, that's so true.
I did not expect to hear that.
Yeah. So over Randall.
It's been a rough year with this team, man.
Yeah,
it's been tough.
Now my heart goes out to you. Not an Elon way, but in a regular way.
Just
we'll just slide on.
We're good.
High five. High five. Joey, the should have trade. Is this where we see red here? I don't know what's happening.
Should we just
do it? Go
into it? We just go right into it.
Let's just go right into it. Yeah.
Yeah. The should have trade is the other 40% of the Bulls roster that is still
40%
a part of their team, right? It should have been Vooch. It should have been Patrick Williams, Lonzo. It should have been Lonzo if they could have gotten anything for it. The 2 years, $20 million total is whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, that's not a bad.
It's not a bad deal,
fine,
but
right?
like
it's a very Jerry kind of signing.
I feel like you would have taken maybe like a 2nd round pick in there just to add to the cupboard because you don't have a lot in the cupboard. That's the should have because everybody thought when they traded Zach that there was finally like a direction. There was a lane that they picked to to go in, right? He'd been talked about for like 2 years that this was coming. It never came. It finally happened. It was like, okay, here we go. And, everybody seems to be getting super excited about the fact that they got this pick next year or this season back, right? That's the win.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, let's see how the last 30 games go.
But the problem is
30 games left.
We're like giving it a win when in reality they traded the pick for DeMar in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like applauding someone who like breaks up with their side piece, right? Like, hey, great job. You know what? I'm really proud of you for finally doing that. Really good. It's like you did it in the first place. You don't get like congratulated and like proud of when you do the right thing. Like,
yeah, you're doing your job.
Right. You solved your own problem that you created in the first place. So you don't get credit. You don't get credit for that.
Oh man, it's a great take.
30 games is what we're looking at. And we're saying that finishing in the play-in tournament is like a victory at this point.
Man, the hearing of that in the conference. I mean, and obviously we all watch AK's conference. I imagine here. I know me and Joey did for sure. Chris, did you end up watching that? Yeah. I mean,
not to mention he thinks that you can build a team.
I've been quoting it like the entire time.
Yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah.
9 to 10 players. That's a lot of teams are doing that these days. You guys hear that? A lot of teams are building
9 to 10. When he said 9 to 10, I was like, you're out of your mind.
9 to 10 solid players is a contender in his mind.
7-man rotation.
I tried to think of a team that's a contender that has 9 to 10 solid players. I couldn't do it.
I mean, OKC, but they have guys that they have no use, or like they have too many guys to play. They've
got like 3 superstars and like 5 solid players.
And that was I think maybe the frustrating thing when he pointed that out or said that. I was like, yeah, but you're talking about you need 2 or 3 special, like Joey said, special guys, and then 4 to 5 solid players on top of that. Like that's what people are doing. They're not doing a bunch of role players. It's not the 20 or the 04 Pistons. Guards. Yeah.
So I don't know how often you guys listen to the Athletic NBA show.
No,
they do a daily pod.
Yeah. Check it out, though.
They have Sam Amick on there, and he earlier this week he was talking about how they did a story earlier this year ranking the front offices in the league. They were focused on asking every single team if they're people who is your top 5 right in the league. And the funny part of this story is the fact that a lot of the people that he was talking to really wanted to share their bottom 5, and it was like, well, no, that's not the story. But then, he says he can't unhear it.
Yeah.
So along the way, given some context along the way, their colleagues see their performance the last couple of years. The front office that kept coming up was Arturas Garnavaris and Mark Eversley.
What did you call
Arturas Karnasovis, sorry.
I
said
Karnavaris. That's why I said AK, man. I was like, yeah.
AK, just AK.
Yeah, not even trying this.
But right now the reactions and the choices are just wildly negative across the league, where Chicago would just come up time and time again with people throwing them into the bottom 5. So it's not even just media slander; it's real stuff within the industry.
Embarrassing.
And the craziest thing about this coming out is the fact that Sam Amick, who probably values his connections around the league, is willing to have this come out. Like it's just
he's not even concerned if these guys don't like him.
Right?
Yeah. Real Nico move there.
Yeah, he saved Nico from a lot of slander this week.
I mean, that press conference, as a Bulls fan, it was depressing.
He looked annoyed to be there, right?
Yeah, which makes me wonder, like, not wonder, but like, is this Jerry? Is this dude actually have any autonomy, or is he just like, hey, I'm here to get my paycheck, and if I have to go out there once a year and answer some questions, cool, I don't care.
It just felt like a combination of things. It felt like ownership maybe, is telling him we need this and this back for Vooch, otherwise you can't make the deal or something.
Yeah. Or
it's him, AK, just overvaluing players. But I don't know what it is, but they are, I follow this guy on YouTube, and he was talking about it. I was watching some of his videos, and he was saying they're not even close to being relevant, let alone a contender. Like, relevant in the league in the sense of a respectable organization. And I think that's what's the most frustrating thing about it. It's because you're like, dude, you guys are this is Jordan, this is the dynasty, and we're not even in the mix for anything. Because like I'm thinking of that conference, and like not once does he make a crack about like the Luka thing. Like, well, yeah, I wish we would have been called on that or something. You know what I mean? Like nothing, no charisma, just the same old. Here we are. All right, yeah, we're gonna try to get in the play-in.
Who would you rather the Bulls? What's the worst team that you'd like the Bulls to at least be like? Like, would you be happy if they were like how the Clippers have been?
I mean, the Clippers are at least doing stuff.
I'd rather have him be the Clippers. I'd rather him be the Hornets, honestly.
The Hornets?
I don't know. I might draw a line.
That's that's one of the bottom five. Yeah,
that's another bottom five.
But hang on. Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball.
Those are fine.
Better than what Bulls have.
Yeah.
And they made moves this season to trade assets that people wanted, and they took back picks to stockpile for the future, knowing that they're not where they need to be and they're probably not going to be there anytime soon. So let's start stockpiling.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in the Hornets position.
Okay. That's
I guess like
at least they did something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
They
Joe,
said
you really took it lower.
They said we've got two really good players and it's not going anywhere. So what should we do? We should trade our other players who are pretty decent that people want, take back whatever we can get, and keep working at it.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Joey, Joey's he's in a dark place right now. No, but I think he had a great point when you said, I just had it. Then I said the dark place and I lost it. What were you talking about? Sorry, man. Somebody had to jump in here. Oh, I lost it.
What do you mean, Brandon? You was talking about Brandon Miller being really good.
No, something about the Bulls. Something about the Bulls.
Well, it's interesting. Like they undervalued their probably best asset this trade season and overvalued their other assets, right?
Yeah.
Zach was their best asset.
Yeah.
Forget the contract. Like,
yeah, he was playing great.
The contract's not great, but it's not as bad as some of these other deals that were getting thrown around here. Mm-hmm. And he was playing at a really good level, really efficient, like everything was cooking. And then they're out there asking for a first round pick for Vucevic. Yeah, if that's true, but that's the rumors that they were demanding a first round pick and they weren't willing to budge off of it. That's stupid.
Yeah. No, I found it. I remember what you said. You said that everybody's like glad handing them for getting their first round pick back, right?
Yeah.
And like I see a world in where that could have been spun in the press conference correctly by AK, where he could have said, when they're asking about like, was there no other draft conversation out there? It's like, look, hey, obviously we were searching for other, draft conversation to build up the coffers, to build up the stores. We were glad we were able to at least get control of the next 3 picks because in theory, those, if it didn't convey this year in the top 10 pick, next year was top 8 protected. And he could have said something like, look, we weren't planning on being that bad that long. We want a fairly quick turnaround. We feel like if we can get a good pick in this piece, we feel like our core is still pretty solid and modest. And name some people. There's a way you could have spun it that he just wasn't able to do in that press conference, and it made him sound even worse. We're like, dude, what are you even doing out there?
Yeah. It sounds like he didn't really prepare.
Yeah.
Right, like he like worded it weird, and then he's like, "No, I meant it like this." And it's like, did you not like rehearse this at all? Do you not? He could
have even gotten a pass if he reminded people where that pick came from. Hey, we had to trade that pick as protection, right, to get DeMar.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, in the long term, it didn't work out with DeMar, but
at the time,
for 2 seasons, right, we had something that was working, and we felt confident about it. Now, after everything has shook out the way it did, we felt it was in our best interest to go back and get that pick and lock it in and make sure that we didn't have to worry about it. If our young core overachieves, we'll take that as a sign of growth for them, and we'll be happy with that.
And we don't lose our pick.
If the young core can't get it together or they kind of stay where they're at and we stick in this position, so be it. But we have our pick and we're happy with that. Like it's such an easy thing to sell.
It's an easy thing to sell
because everybody faulted him for sending that pick for DeMar, and then everybody forgot about that pick, forgot about that real fast because DeMar was not everybody said it was the worst contract of the offseason, and it turned out to not be that.
Yeah, and it's the king of the fourth and all this other stuff, and he's hitting back-to-back game winners, and everybody's loving it. So, you said it could have easily been sold. Hey, look, at the time, It was working out. We weren't too worried about it. And look, now we have control. And if things work out, this core seems like there's something. Maybe we now we have control of our picks, and maybe we can make a move for a piece.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was an easy way to spin it.
Yeah. Like we have options now. We don't have to tank. We don't have to be a top 8 pick. We can actually kind of go wherever the team tells us.
Right. Yep.
Because I get Chris was bringing it up too, but I get what he was saying about that. If you make the play and it shows our guys are developing, and I think that's true. I think that in a sense, like I wasn't, obviously preseason wasn't a fan of the play-in aspirations, but I get what he's saying. Like if Modest and those guys drag you to a play-in game, okay, like all right, it shows that they've got a little bit of juice. Like I'm not terrible about it.
If Modest drives you to like a 500 record over these these 30 games, you'd probably look at that and be like, all right, we have something really legitimate here.
Yeah. Because it's Modest, not
because
Zach
it's Modest.
Vooch, yeah,
exactly.
There was another thing from that.
But if Vooch averages, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, from that press conference, just going to your thing about like trying to showcase Modest, like, but the reporter asked, what do you value getting players back over draft compensation? And he kind of said, like, I like draft compensation, players, and flexibility in that order. And it's like, but you didn't get any.
Yeah, that was the follow-up. You haven't gotten any draft compensation for any of your deals.
Yeah.
He's not made one deal that's involved the draft pick.
And then he could have flipped that around and said, well, in our opinion, I know it's maybe not super flashy, but getting control of our own picks is in our mind draft compensation, because technically we didn't have full control of that. And now we have that to work with, and we have those picks to make, and we'll go from there. We'll see what this team can do in the next 30 games.
It's the way to sell it. We just sold his press conference better than we could have. We made more sense of what he was trying to do than he could, and we would have done it differently.
Yeah. Because you see what he's doing. Like his hands are probably tied a little bit by, the ownership. So
yeah. Levine trade's I'm not even that mad at the Levine trade. I'm just mad that they didn't make another trade.
Yeah. I'm mad at it because it's the only one. If it was one of many, I wouldn't even bat an eye at it, because it's the only one. It looks to me so much worse.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm mad about is I wish they had sent him to a contender. I really wanted to see Zach go somewhere interesting, and I don't think Sacramento's interesting.
No. Sacramento.
Put him back with DeMar, just rude.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Rude.
It's rude. It is rude.
It's rude.
What was ruder, Luka? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Calling Luka fat or sending Zach to the Kings?
Right.
Probably Zach to the Kings, because one of those is slightly true.
Has Zach said anything about playing with DeMar again? Has he been like, I'm so excited to be back with my buddy?
I didn't watch his full press conference, so I don't know. I'm sure somebody asked him. He just said, "Yeah."
I want to look at. I'm gonna take that more closely next Kings game. See if they probably have some handshake or something. But
DeMar posted like on Instagram like the picture of them together and had like that song they reunited, and it feels so good playing. So, but
DeMar's loving it.
They probably told him, "Hey man, can you act like you like the guy?
Yeah,
do us a solid
25
here."
25.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, tough deadline for Bulls fans. Great deadline for Lakers fans. You guys, any other comments on this, or
no? I need to stop talking about this.
That's all right.
I feel good. We can move on. I feel like I have accepted the Luka trade now.
The Bulls hat came off dramatically.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We're at that point.
But like, we just gotta focus on different teams, guys. For the
all right? What teams are you guys locking in here now after the trade deadline? Who are you locking in on? I think I'm gonna put an eye on Golden State.
Actually, not the Spurs. Never mind. Golden State. I was gonna say the Cat. I need to watch more Cavs.
Yeah, you're right. Cavs.
I need to get a better idea of this team.
Chet's coming back tomorrow.
You're right.
Oh, good one. Yeah,
they're ready to go.
I got him covered.
We're in the home stretch, boys.
You're going to see Chet next Thursday.
Oh, nice.
In Minnesota.
Nice. Oh, you get tickets?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. That was one of my recommendations for a game to go to.
Attaboy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I didn't do it on purpose, I swear. What do you guys think for a schedule here? You guys want to Are we coming back next week to talk All Star? Do you want to maybe give ourselves a break? Come back after the break.
We'll figure it out. We gotta pick new teams. We gotta repick. We gotta reshuffle our teams for the
draft.
Maybe
I can update that wins bet.
We got a lot coming up. We will keep you guys posted as far as what we do. Trade deadlines are over, so no more emergency podcasts, but we'll see. I did watch the I don't know if you guys saw the All-Star team draft today happened.
Totally forgot about it.
So did I until I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm throwing it on. Worth the watch, I will say. It was very funny, very interesting. Shaq basically drafted my team. It was awesome. So
yeah.
That's not how we had that set up, but where was it? Did we have you being Shaq?
No, I don't think we had picked people, but I think it was you guys. You should watch it, and if you guys are listening to the pod, obviously check that out. And if you're a new listener from Germany or from the Electric Corporation, shouts out.
And Dirk is the GOAT.
Dirk is the GOAT. Well, that is it for us today. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. So until next time, Box Out!